So, welcome everyone to yoga here at the barn at Bonnevaux with myself and John and Henriette and Luke, who's filming. And we've had the most beautiful sunny days, and there's a lovely evening sky, colors. So here we are. We're going to dive into some practice, and I'm going to pick up a theme we haven't done very often. Because we've done a lot of learning to bend forward and back and sensing the weight and then noticing how the body changes, and especially what that means for the lower back, pelvis and legs. But we're going to take it a little bit into rotation, and I want to come back to the shoulder girdle. So it may feel like a softer and even quieter class, but the work can be deep, so pace yourselves. So let's just start standing on your own 2 feet. And we're going to quietly go towards closing the eyes. So if that makes you dizzy, find a wall or a piece of furniture to hold on to. Otherwise, we're just going to let the eyes close. And we're just going to see where that takes us. As the eyes closes, what happens to your sense of balance, sense of the space around you, the sense of the space inside you. And where does your weight go? Does it take you into your hips or your shoulders or the back of your head, or do you go down to your feet or into the back of your body or somewhere else? Just notice, there's no right or wrong. And then we're just going to pour the weight from one foot to the other, like I'm doing, with your eyes closed if you can. So I just pour the weight. I'm not doing a shape. I let the weight go into the left leg, and I let my body adapt around that. And then I let the weight go into the right leg. So as I pour the weight, I may notice I go more far, I go less far. My hip really sticks out or it doesn't. My neck wants to bend. My torso wants to bend. So there's many ways for arranging yourself as you pour gravity into your right leg and into your left leg. And then just notice the relationship front to back of the foot. Front to back of the foot. Does your leg want to lock straight, or does the knee want to bend? And is there any discomfort? All of these things are helpful just to notice. So probably what everyone has been doing, if you look at my hands, is everyone's had very flat feet. So we're rocking, but sort of nothing from foot to ankle really happens, which is fine. It's one way of organizing this. But let's just tilt the feet like this. So really let yourself go in the direction in which you're rocking. So I pour my weight to the left, and it's as if I'm, surfing that way. And then the other way. And you'll notice as you do that, that the body will start to maybe want to swivel. See, I can see John's pelvis is swiveling. Yeah, so as we rock, and you can literally if you're going to the right, you can let the left sides of your feet come off the floor. So we really rock, and we're going to really let the body do that bit of a spiral that starts to come in as we rock the feet. Don't get all caught up in, am I doing it right? Just play. You can watch, you can fake it to make it. It doesn't matter, because once you're moving, it adds up for you. So now I'm rocking through my feet, and I'm letting my body kind of swivel, and you can play also with your eyes open now, so you can have eyes closed and open. Yeah. So rocking and swiveling, rocking and rotating, or rocking and not, very stable feet that don't leave the ground at all, very flat, all very glued to the floor, or feet that really, yeah, like on skates or on roller skates. Great. And then we're going to add a swiveling arm movement. So just add it on top. It may already have been happening, but just as you sway, let your arms flow. Yeah. That's it. And the breath. And just notice if you, especially if you've been coming to these classes, you remember we always come back to the sense of weight and participating in the movement, like diving into a river, not watching and shaping and looking at ourselves. So just notice as you play with the side to side, the pouring, the rocking of the feet, and now the bit of rotation, just notice the sense of weight. Notice the feeling bases that are moving through you. Yeah. And then pausing if you want to, and then going again. Yeah. Big arm swing or not so big. Yeah. Eventually you'll notice, oh, it's my arms that are guiding me. Oh, it's my feet that are guiding me. Yeah. The breath, the weight. Yeah. And then maybe take a pause, go for a little walk, and just notice, okay, so I've arrived, what's changing? So we're always taking this small step away from performing and evaluating, which is very helpful if you were having to do a pirouette and not fall over. It would be different, but here it's a different quality of work. This is much more like gardening. Yeah. What is that?
Fly.
Okay, so we're just going to, with the left foot, we're just going to take a step back and a step forward. Just very easy. So the right foot stays where it is, and the left foot, yeah, back and forth. Okay, so when we step back and we turn towards the back foot, the body makes a certain kind of a twist. So it's the left foot that is moving, but don't worry about that so much. The right foot stays still, and then we step back with the left foot. Step back with the left foot and turn towards the back foot. Yeah. And just feel that. And then we step forward with the left foot and turn towards the left foot again. Left foot, yeah. And then we step back with the left foot and we turn towards the left foot. And then we step forward with the left foot and we turn towards the left foot. So now you know the pattern. Then we step back and we turn towards the left foot. So we're doing the same movement. So you'll notice when you step forward, you're turning across yourself. When you step back, you're turning with yourself, let's say. Yeah, that's correct. Yes, that's it. And you can leave your heel on the floor. Yeah. And then we're going to just let, that's nice. We're just going to let the arms sail up. So you get very long as you twist. Yeah. And then we step back. And again, and don't worry about the shape. Once you get the feeling of what we're doing, and let's open up the fingers and open up the toes. That was it, Henry. What we do, watch, is you stop and turn. Yeah. And then you finish, and then you step again and stop and turn. And for the moment, it's the left foot, and we're turning left. Stop and turn, step. That's it. Stop and turn. And then when you stop and turn, really root the feet and let the arms go flying. Drop, step, stop, turn, root, branches, ground, sky. Yeah. And now that was great. Now we're opening up the toes and fingers and opening up. We're lifting the shoulders off the hips. Brilliant. Brilliant. Great. Come back to the middle and just have a bit of a swivel. Nice. Okay, so we're going to step back with the right foot. We'll just step back. So it's very easy. Step back and forward. Step back and forward. So we're pouring weight. We're pouring weight. And this kind of movement prevents me from showing you a shape that then you will try to do. But then again, now we'll be turning to the right only. So I step back and I stop and I turn to the right. And then I step forward and I stop and I turn to the right. And then I step back and I stop and I turn to the right and I keep growing into my legs and arms, letting those shoulders and ribs lift off the pelvis and legs. That's it. And back and open and back forward and opening up, root through the heels, toes, opening up arms. Yeah. So if you leave your back foot on the ground, yeah, just makes it different. How's that? Yeah, so rooting through the legs and then lifting and turning a bit more. How's that? And it can go all the way through. That's it. Great. Okay. Okay. How was that, John? So we're going to step forward with the right foot. And then we're going to take a bigger step and a slightly bigger step. And you can adapt it once you see where we're going. So the back foot is back. It can turn out a little. Now the front leg bends. And I'm going to put my elbow on my front knee. And I'm going to look down. So I haven't stepped far enough to be comfortable. And I'm going to look down at my big toe. I mean, you may want to look at the camera or at me for a moment. But so I'm really resting on my elbow on that front knee. My front foot is taking a lot of my weight, but my back foot is rooted. And then with my arm, watch my arm, I'm going to look at my big toe. I'm going to keep looking, but my arm is going to trace an arc all the way around so that it takes my torso with it. Yeah. So the whole torso rotates. Looking down at my big toe, really rotating, and then I come back. And then again, I look at my big toe, and my arm goes round, and my whole torso opens up, opens up, opens up, opens up, opens up, resting down into my knee, into my heel, opening the torso. Yeah. So this is something you're probably doing, but both John and Henriette were doing. The more your arm goes down and gets locked back, the less you move. So what you want to do, I'm going to go with you. So you're here, and then the arm comes around, and there's a moment where you can see it's opening Henriette's torso. Is that okay, Henriette? And then look down at your big toe. Yeah, go ahead. Down, start down. All the way down.
And then
pull my shoulder. This is the arm that's coming off. Let it hang. Okay, look at your big toe. Rest on your knee to elbow to knee, and then start to open. So about here, your torso should start turning. So it should not you can turn more. Do you see? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it should not irritate your shoulder at all. Is that comfortable?
Yep.
Yeah. Right. Rooting on the back foot, rooting on the front foot, really opening up the torso. Let's do the other side. We'll change mats. Yeah, so we're standing, we take a big step, we take a slightly bigger step, or even bigger, rooting through the feet and resting the elbow on the knee, looking down at my big toe. That orients my head and eyes, but also the whole of my torso. My arm hangs down, knee over heel, and then I open my torso with the movement of my arm. Yeah. And don't let your knee, the knee you're leaning on, travel around. So keep it over your heel. You can see because you should be looking down. Yeah. Huge feet. Lift and open the toes. Huge feet. Keep opening, keep opening, keep opening. And let's come back. Let it hang, let the arm hang, and then let's make a ha sound as we open up. Breathe and sound and feel the weight. Let the torso open. Your arm is traveling down, John. So now open your torso more. Wait, stay there. Stay here.
I feel a resistance in my back.
Yeah, just, yeah, and maybe you're worrying, but just let it turn. Yeah, that's it. How is that?
Yeah, there's a resistance.
And that's your limit. So you don't need to go beyond that. Just keep opening. Look, do you see? Yeah. That's your limit. That's good, Henry. Great. And come back. And come back. And we'll kneel down. How is that, John? Limits.
I can feel something in there is not happy about it.
Yeah. Yeah, those ones where you bend forward are tricky. Yeah. So we're just going to step forward with the right leg. This will put it all back in place. Yeah, and you want to get your knee over your heel. That's it. So when you're clear about this, then you can just move this leg back a little. Make it as long as feels good for you. So watch me. So we might start in this kind of on your marks, get set, go position, like hunched up like this, ready. But what you want to do is release your pelvis through. That's good for your back. That's it. Release it through. Connect with it. That's it. Connect, connect, connect. Yeah. And then we're just going to hold the knee and we're going to turn towards the leg. Turn towards the leg. Breathe, let yourself drop in. The more you drop in, John, the better, without pushing. Listen to the body as you let go into gravity, as things want to unwind and open and turn and lengthen. Right. Then we come back. And we put the same side arm on the inside. You can, of course, have a chair here and hold on to the chair. Same side arm on the inside. And then we're going to do what we just did, which is open up. Keep dropping the pelvis through as we open up. Good, gently. Yeah, that looks very good. Breathe. The little wobbles as you find your balance are good things. Breathe. Keep opening. And then we come back. The weight, the breath. The winter light, it's different, isn't it, when it gets changes the whole day. So we just feel into that. Where the breath goes, where it's releasing or moving. And then we'll step forward with the left foot. So the foot is rooting, the knee over the heel. And I'm not sort of on my flat hand. I mean, you could be, but it makes my hunch my shoulders. So up on my knuckles or my fingertips. I'm rooting the knee over the heel, and then I'm just slowly deciding how far back I want the other leg to go, that's the good part for the back. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. And it takes a moment as I breathe, without pushing, just to release into the jacuzzi of the pose. Yeah, the energy, powerful energy around the hip muscles, pelvis. Okay. And then I'm orienting my antlers and my head direction. I know where it's going. I can feel my tail. You can touch the base of your spine. Just letting the body find, yeah, you see that looks amazing. Are you comfortable? Mm-hmm. Very deep, both of you, very beautiful. And then I'm just going to turn my torso towards my leg, gently turning, yeah, rotating, looking for the way in the forest and being surprised. It's not, you don't know the way. You don't need to know exactly how this movement is going to unfold. It gets boring. Like that. But there's a robin out there hopping around. Yeah, and then we come back. Then the same side arm gets pushed against the same side leg. So that's important. So you're leaning against that. And then I open up. And I know on me, this side is not so easy. I just find my way slowly, slowly, slowly. Opening, finding my ground, finding the length through the spine, opening more, finding my ground, length through the spine. You can look down at your big toe, you can look out across the room, you can look up at the ceiling, and coming back. Yes. Yes, and a moment of rejoicing. Yes. I always feel like I'm going to go past the front door, but slowly the body goes, oh, look, and then it opens up. Yeah. So we're just come onto your hands and knees, and we'll take ourselves into squirrel with the tail up, which we've done many, many times before. So you let your elbows go down, you lean back into your sit bone, so your thighs are no longer vertical. You lean back, and then you allow as you lean back, you allow your head to rest on the ground, and you allow your sit bones to widen that tiny little bit, but it's huge on the body. You can curl your toes under, and we just take a moment for the spine to untangle long from the sit bones off of which it's hanging. Down, down, down. So the figure ground is always asking yourself, how am I making this base? How am I resting on the ground? That's always. We don't try, two at the same time just makes you tight in the middle. So here, if you're looking at the base, it could be your elbows and forearms, your knees, your toes. Am I really resting? Usually, as we quieten and settle, we rest more and we learn more without judging, how we hold on or how we're trying to levitate. So that's resting. And then here, it's the tail of the squirrel that's going up into the space. The tail of the squirrel has 100,000 eyes, and they're looking around, and those eyes have each got 6 wings. It's a bit like a cherubim. So the tail of the squirrel is very alive. So the tail of your spine, open your imagination. It's really going somewhere, which is different from clamping down on it with your legs and butt muscles. It's the sit bones are widening from each other and your tail is going up. And your tail is the one end of your spine. So your whole spine is hanging like a river of pearls from the tail all the way through. And you're letting that have repercussions into your chest and your ribs. It's so beautiful, Henriette. Every time you breathe, I can see your spine right here, especially here. I can just see it. It's like there's a little wave of release. Yeah, I'm sure you can feel.
Oh, yeah.
And then things you can do are wobble the head a little, because if the head is very still, you may not be able to sense that something's trying to release. So is that okay?
Yeah.
A little bit of wobbling the head, making sure the jaw is relaxed and hanging, the tongue is soft. And then you rest again. And you see now that arm just let go. So then you see, did you feel? You see, what does that mean? So then you may want to widen your arms a bit or less, or let your fingers open up more, or actually let your lips fall more towards the floor, or your tail go flying more. So that's yoga. In the pose, we see the body move on the wave of the breath. That is yoga. Making a shape is not yoga. It's boga. Yeah. Yeah. So what happens here is you have injury, and then there's worry, right? Yeah. How is that?
Good.
Yeah, it's very good. So this side is more up and a bit more bunchy right here than this side. Yeah. So tail going up, and this just, hanging off. And, let your ribs hang off. Let your organs hang off the spine. And then don't push, and listen to the shoulders. The shoulders tell you quite quickly if the shoulder girdle is not happy, right in the shoulder joint. So you can widen your arms, you can tuck one under if it's really not happy. And here, so don't go this way, right? Go more, not too much, not too much. I'm just letting you know that it's better to there. It's like I said with Henriette, it's like your lips or your tongue are hanging towards the floor rather than the crown. That's it. So the neck is bending. Yeah. And then the forearms are releasing to the ground all the way out through to the fingers. Yes, do you feel? That's amazing. So if you have cats or parrots or spouses or kids who want to sit on your forearms, you can invite them. You could even pay them to sit on your forearms. You feel the weight? Because the weight you can have, if your kids want to do yoga with you, you can just ask them to do this, what I'm doing now with John, just to rest their weight on your forearms, because it's quite a revelation. Especially if you do a lot of karate or typing or carrot chopping. Quite a revelation. Where are my glasses? And then coming back. Yeah. Well, with both of you, and I felt it myself, that moment where you're no longer shaping, but your body starts to go, thank you, and release. That is yoga. That's what I learned from Vanda and Mary Stewart. That is what the yoga is about. The shape and the leg behind the head, it's not really, that's just the frame. But when you look through the window frame and you realize that the landscape and the heron is in the lake and the leaves are moving and the cyclamen have blossomed, or there's a fox, and you see the landscape alive, that's the yoga. The shape is neither here nor there. It's just a frame that helps us, move and learn about ourselves. So I saw both of you in very different ways. And then you release so much that then your arm needs a break. So you can tell something's happening. Yeah, and it's not just the spine, it's the cranial bones and the jaw and the neck bones which participate in this movement very deeply. Otherwise, we're on our iPhone, we're like that, and it starts to move. So, I think I'm going to move my mat a little bit like that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to lie on our side. So we're continuing what we've been up to, which is starting to rotate the body without, doing obvious twists. So we're just going to lie on the side of the body. Yeah, long arm. Make it comfortable. You can bend your knees a bit, or you can keep your legs straight. That's really up to you, but make it comfortable. And just take a moment for all of your weight to pour onto the right side. Do you see that's different from this? This is just a shape. Be on your side, make it all straight. I'm in a shape. It doesn't matter. I'm a bit wobbly. I'm letting my head find a way to rest on my arm. And I'm letting the weight pour down onto the right side of my body, my right leg, my right hips, the right side of the ribs, the right lungs, the right ear. Then I'm going to take my left hand and put it on the floor in front of me, kind of near my face or just in front there. So that's my support and my propulsion. And then so it's the hand that's making you move. And I'm just going to push myself back and return. So I'm going to rock back and forward, but it's my hand that's doing it. It's not the legs or the tummy muscles. And it can be quite a big movement. So your head sort of flops around, or a smaller movement. So be playful. So it's not very considered, and there's no right way. But if you make quite a movement back, your head starts to fall off your arm and you start to be about to roll onto your back. If you come forward, your head starts to slide forward, your face starts to face the floor. And I'm rolling onto the back of my ribs and the back of my pelvis. I'm rolling over the big knobble on the side of my hips, more onto the front. I can feel now the weight going to my knees. And just make little So you're really in movement. You're on a wave, on the dynamic balancing surfboard of your body. Little joggles, little rockings, lots of olive oil. It's quite a profound movement. Quite profound asymmetrical movement on the right side of the body. And then come to rest. Come to rest. Wonderful. Now, the left hand and the left arm are going to make that movement that we did in the standing and in the lunge pose. This movement that just goes all the way up in a semicircle. I'm doing it here on camera, Henriette, you can look. Yeah, exactly. So that it opens your rib cage. That's it. Until the arm is vertical. Now, we're going to go a little bit beyond the vertical, but we don't want from the belly button down to the toes to follow. So that remains very heavy, but it's just from the belly button up. So the ribs and the shoulders and the arm and the neck, they start to, as you go back a bit, you don't want to go so far that you fall on your back, but your upper body starts to rotate. And just enjoy that. So from your belly button, you're making a twist with the upper body, which we did in standing and we did in lunging, and then I come back. Arm is vertical, and then we go again. Or you can come all the way back to the floor if you want to rest. But you're really letting the whole upper body do something which is different from the lower body. And come back. Yeah, you can go all the way. Yeah, open, open, and the arm on which your head was resting can come forward if you need a counterbalance. The breath, and coming back. Can come all the way back to the floor, and then opening can be faster, slower. But the lower body is just very heavy and quiet. The upper body is untangling. That's very nice. So you can see that there's a big movement that's going on in the spine, but also for the shoulders, right? And in the chest area, the armpit area, all of that is learning to open, but you don't have any shape in mind. Yeah, it's just the weight is on the right side, and the left side has wings and feelers. Yeah. And it's exploring the space, and that's beautiful, in a big arc. How is that, John?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a very big arc. Yeah. So just one thing, come back again. So it's all good, but the arm and the shoulder are going at the same pace together. Mm-hmm. So you miss out on some stuff. So if this, where my hand is, doesn't go, that's your spine. There, you see, that was just your arm. Now that's your limit, right? Mm-hmm. So now, if you keep going a little more, this will open in here. And now you let your spine go, do you see? Mm-hmm. So you've opened a lot more across here. Yeah. Beautiful. So shall we try on the other side? Did that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just do it once more.
Yeah, and for your back issue, this is so important. This can't move as a block. Yeah, no, now keep going with the arm. Now the ribs and shoulder and so, yes. Yeah. Okay. So now we're on the other side. If you have only one side, then of course you need to repeat that side. If you're a one-sided person, there are some people who have only one side. It's a form of enlightenment. Then just do that one side again. But remember, before you go or you rush into making a shape, now that you know what we did, don't. Just let the weight really rest. So feel that your ear is really resting on your arm. Feel that your ribs are really resting on the ground. Yeah, so beautiful. Adjusting. Then your hand, it's going to be your right hand is on the floor. Your right hand is on the floor in front. Your legs are straight or bent, probably a little bit bent, just makes you more stable. And then your right hand starts to move you, and you will adjust the positions of arm and head and whatever you need. So your right arm pushes you back, you recoil forward, you're rolling from the front of the ribs over the midline of the ribs to the back. You can feel what that's like. Your head starts to lollop off the back of your arm or roll forward. Then you can accelerate or make the movement bigger. Or very small, like you're just sloshing the water in your heart around. As you lean back, maybe you're imagining just your heart resting back against the back of your chest and your brain just resting back on the back of your head and your eyes kind of falling back into their sockets. And then we go forward. The breath, this really gentle, peaceful, but also precise and rigorous, but it's not about the shape, it's more about the directions, the vectors, if you want to be mathematic. The directions are that I'm lying on my left side. That's the main direction, and the weight is all there. And then the right side, which is facing the sky, is starting to roll around. Wonderful. It's very, very, very helpful for the neck. If having your head on your arm isn't comfortable, you can put a pillow in between. You've probably done that already. Then the arms. So I let my hand go out. I'm lying on my left side. Hand is straight out on the floor. And then you make that same arc. So the straight arm helps you to feel, okay, my arm is moving. Now my chest is opening. Now if I rush into moving my back, I haven't fully opened my chest. So I let the arm continue. Now I feel something in the shoulder, so I wait. Breath, release. Now the front of the armpit is opening. Now something quite profound is happening in the ribs. Now my legs are really rooting, but from my belly button up, I'm twisting and spiraling. My head is sliding off my arms. And I just allow that to unfold. Don't have an expectation or a final arrival point. You don't need to gain the final shape or anything like that. It doesn't really matter, because if you're intent on putting your arm on the floor back there, you don't know where you walked in the landscape. Came back, I'm going again, the arm. Now, part of what you're doing as you go back is you're just letting your arm hang off the front of your body as you go back. That's part of what you're doing. The other part is that you could also be reaching and opening out through the arm and fingers. So you can play with those. And my arm is just heavy, or my arm is this reaching feeler thing that is reaching out from the spine or even from the other arm. And it's opening up, opening up, opening up. Opening up. Beautiful. Just take your time to finish. If you learned something that often happens on the second side that you want to take to the first side, you're welcome. Yeah, so you may want to do a few more on this side or go back and do another one on the other side, and that's fine. Just take your time. Right there, slow down, just right there. So it's like, just stay there. Just it's like you lost the weight and you went into the movement. So just come back to this. Because a lot of these issues resolve when the weight gets clear. Do you feel? So you're really resting on your left. Now move your arm. Yeah, do you see? But see, the chest hasn't moved yet. Look how much room you have. And you're resting on the left side. And then this is opening. Otherwise, it's all of a piece, which is great if you have to push your car because it won't start. But that's not what we're doing. Yeah, yeah. And now look, you've made a very deep twist and back bend in your lower back where where you have your worries. Yes. Yes. And I would say, can you stay? Is it uncomfortable? So I would say what's interesting here is stay rooted. Can I put my hand? Now wait, don't go yet. Wait for the arm to open. Just wait. Yes, do you feel? Just let so we have the weight on the left side, and then the right side is opening and flying, and then you discover, because you're not forcing any shit. Do you see? It's amazing. You discover the whole line of your arms is from your fingers to your heart, practically. And it's not like you developed an arm and then when you were 12 or 16, your fingers popped out on your 16th birthday. It's that you start with fingers. So this baby finger, it's all baby finger, all the way back to your shoulder blade and deep somewhere in your lung. Look at that. Yeah, is that okay? See, that's amazing. And now you made this opening. Of course, if it was uncomfortable, you would stop.
It's not uncomfortable. It's just that there's not enough weight in this side.
And then we fall. And then we fall over. We fall into blossom. Yeah, do you see? And learning to keep the weight there it's a learning process. Yeah. Because when we're bound, all bound together this way, we just pull it. But it's actually we're opening out. Yeah, that's gorgeous. And then coming back. Pouring the weight back. Beautiful. Pouring the weight back. Even the head is doing it. Keep going. Even the head as we roll. Even the head, we're pouring the weight back into the left ear. Yeah. So from the very first class that we did when all of this started in March for us, or if you've been coming to classes before, but it's really one of the first principles of yoga. The question is, where is the root of the pose? So that I can open to my world. Or you could say, where is my horizon so that I can find my roots? It doesn't matter which direction you take. But if you try to do both, you just close in the middle, which is fine, but then it's acrobatics. It's like, I'm going to do now a flick flack. So I close and I go whoop, like that, and my body goes ding, ding, ding. But this is different. We're saying, how can I find this basic separation that needs to happen? And so much healing happens lower back to hips, upper back to shoulders. When we're all locked together and sitting one on the other, we run into trouble because first of all, the lumbar vertebrae can't act properly on each other and then things twing and ping. Yeah, it's beautiful. Beautiful. Hopefully what you're feeling, it's in the everyday world is we stop that because we're seeing and naming all the time, which causes anxiety and it doesn't give us full reality. Yes. But when I touched your arm, when I gave you the weight, right? When we do that for each other, like, yeah, like if you're trying to tell me something important and I let you know through my eyes that I'm here, well, it's going to be easier for you to speak. And we do that. We do give each other weight. And it's profoundly life-giving. Or we can take the weight, your burden, you come and grieve on my shoulder. We can also do that. Beautiful. Yeah, or we can jump onto someone out of joy. So there is this exchange of weight, which we are doing, yes, which we are doing through our bodies, throughout life. Yeah, and we call it a joint or an articulation. Very beautiful. So what I'd like to do is, if this has been a lot of rotating, you can come back to that squirrel thing that's more symmetrical. It's very important, but less deep. But if you're happy with where we were, which way do I need to be? I think I need to be like this. What we'll do is this. You may need a sweater or a sock or something if your hands don't connect. But we're going to lie on one side, rock around a bit as we bend at the elbow. And then the other arm is going to come around the back and connect. So don't force, two things. Don't force, better to start with a sock. And then the second thing, which means here, is if I pull the shoulder back in order to make the connection, I won't, I'll just get tight. So it's better to let the shoulder drop forward, the top one, because it works better for the joint, the way the joint is built, because the joint has a break on the back. So let it drop forward. You'll notice that your arm can slide up just as well with the shoulder forward, and then you connect. So I'm cleaning the floor here as I slide around. So we let the shoulder drop forward, we slide up the back, we bend at the elbow. You can let your head loll forward towards the floor. You may connect, or you can hold a belt or a sock or a branch. Yeah, and then we're going to have to take my glasses off. But once you're connected with whatever support you need, we're just going to slowly roll forward onto the front. Yeah, so you may need something soft for your face, but you will, once you've rolled forward, you'll discover that you probably have a lot more purchase. So if you force the connection of your hands, it's not going to work. So look, I'm with John. But you weren't forcing, it's good. So if you hold the mat there, and you hold the mat there, then you can wiggle up just a tiny bit more and stop. Yeah. That's good. And then, let me give you something. And then
My socks are
your
there.
what?
I have my socks if you.
Well, this is easy too, though. What's this? Yeah, you just need, because what happens if you're not struggling is your shoulders would release of their own accord. You can wiggle up a bit more, yeah. And then you want to really relax. So you're connected here. This is the mudra here. And you want to really relax all these bits. And so you let the two shoulder joints breathe and become moistened by the richness of this movement, which is not a stretch. A lot of these movements are not stretches in yoga. They're actually a lot more like osteopathy and homeopathy. You're bringing things together. It's like you're going towards the poison and you're squelching the body together. And that's when at a deep ligamentous level, there is a release. Because when we bring ligaments together, they come out of their tensional pattern and they rest. And the body starts to wobble towards a better place. And all muscles that have fibers that are parallel to the ligamentous fibers, those are the muscles that are listening to ligament messages. All of those start to tune in and change tone and allow. We could never do this by shaping our own bodies. And yoga is really, well, a lot of movement work, if we let that happen, it's really where the joy and the heaven on earth is. Wonderful. So you can unclasp here, or you can roll back. You need your feet to help you to roll back. Yeah, roll back and change arms. So you undo, you lie on this. At other times we've gone onto our backs, but we won't do that today. We'll just, you're on the other side. This comes round. Yeah, usually because we're all like roses twining up a tree, one side will be a lot easier than the other. Or slightly easier, but it'll be different. Yeah. Great. So you connect, then you make your connection, and then you let go. The shoulder with the arm that's going up the back, you let that shoulder drop to the floor if you've rolled onto your front. You let your head go, you let the other arm go, and you realize as you let go that you have more room. Beautiful. Let go in the belly. Yeah, did you feel? So you let go, and then the body does, it takes your initial instruction, and then the aqueous bit, the water dragon, starts to do something new. There is a pioneer in movement called Emily Conrad Dawood, who developed a system of movement exploration called continuum movement, and you can find her on YouTube. She died some years ago. And there is a sequence where she and Susan Harper, who's also very and alive and a wonderful teacher in this, you can see them moving their backs like a river, worth looking up. Extraordinary insight into how liquid the body is and how it longs to be allowed into micro movement. And the bedrock of yoga or any healing, wholesome movement is that the body begins to have this micro movement ripply effect. Yeah. Yeah. And it applies to our relationships because we're water beings, so we resonate, which is a micro movement. Yeah. Just take your time and then we'll close. We started a little late, so if it's okay, we'll just go a couple more minutes. Yeah. So, the neck, the head. So props can be just to help you let go because you're not struggling. To close the mudra. The mudras are where the body touches the body. Yeah, that was good. Relax in the belly. Yeah. Okay, so beautiful, so beautiful. A liquid late autumn, early winter yoga class. Just before you close, let it river down into your legs. So just any kind of holding in the thigh that's not necessary. So this kind of letting gravity take you into length or bring you back together, harvest the connectivity of all the parts. And the breath is easy, wonderful. So thank you, everyone. And remember, all of these classes are online. You should all have the link. If you're new to the class, usually we publish the link at the next reminder. If you're not on the database, you can send a message to me if you're coming through my database, or to Leo if it's through the meditation community. And we'll see you next week. Thank you.